Okay, this is a quick preview for the market setups for this next week here. I'll be going through the pairs I've already tagged and looking at which ones might be having a favorable setup in this next week. So first off, I'll go through the euro and pound pairs. So it looks like the European currencies are trending downwards for the last several weeks. Euro USD here, this last week we had a shallow breakout, but the price still closed above the previous support. It has been getting resisted by this descending trend line and the weekly Tenkan-sen. So next week there could be a breakout of the previous low here. And in fact, on the daily chart, you can see exactly how the price retraced for the last several days here. So this last week, on Monday, there was a sell-off on August 22nd. However, that momentum was not maintained throughout the rest of the week. So the daily chart is technically flat on Euro USD. However, there have been these long wicks, especially on Friday's candle close. There was an announcement by Chairman Powell, and it looks like the USD was gaining strength on Friday. So yeah, we can check for next week if the breakout is going to occur or if it's going to continue to trade in a range. Next would be Euro AUD. This one is also in a slight downtrend on the weekly chart. So yeah, it has been getting supported around the 1.4355 level. So yeah, it could break out, but you just have to monitor and wait patiently until it does. Eurocad. This is a pair I've been talking about with my last several trades. So last week it did not really break out of the previous low. It attempted and actually closed above it. So yeah, on the daily chart, you can see Friday's retracement was responsible for that. In fact, it went all the way up and even closed above the previous doji here. It did get resisted a little bit by the daily Tenkan-sen, but it is still technically flat. In terms of market structure, it is still below the previous flat trading range, which started on in the beginning of July. It was trading in kind of a sideways range below between these areas. So it could be resisted here and then keep going down. So yeah, next week we can look for further euro weakness or CAD dollar strength. Euro Swiss franc, this is similar to all the other euro denominated pairs, but it's probably one of the more trending markets. It has been in a downtrend ever since June, but last week it was a doji candle. So it looks like momentum is slowing down, but there's also no significant supports or resistances for quite a while. So I expect the trend on this pair to continue. Let's look at pound USD. So this one is similar to Euro USD. It has been in a downtrend. The Kijun-sen is pointing down. And last week we actually had it closed right at the previous wick support. So let's see how that actually happened on the daily chart. So yeah, it was trading in a range for most of the week until Friday. The buyers tried to push it up and then it got sold back down. So if you look carefully, it actually did close below the previous wick support. So yeah, this could set it up for further selling this next week here. Next is pound AUD. So this one is quite volatile, but also in a downtrend. As I mentioned several weeks ago, it broke out of this triangle trading range. The previous week it did go back up to retest, and now it's being sold off again. So yeah, these next coming weeks here, we can see it sell off further. There's no, yeah, it already passed this support point at 1.72. So there's not much support until maybe this 1667 level. So looking at that, there is about another 350 pips to trade or so. And then even several more hundreds of pips until the previous support at 1.61. So yeah, this could be a good setup for pound AUD. Next, let's look at pound CAD. This one is similar to Euro CAD in that it's been kind of a choppy downwards trend. As you can see, even though it broke out of the previous low, it has not been a strong breakout. There's lots of dojis here. You can see the momentum slowing down on the daily chart. But a further breakout is still possible. There's also not much support, or there is one right here, so we have to be careful of the 1.524 level. We have to see if it will break through this level, or it's going to get supported and maybe retrace. And pound Swiss franc, this one is also bearish, but last week was a doji candle. So yeah, we also have to see if it's going to break through the previous low here, or if it's going to trade sideways or retrace. I will mention though, on the daily chart, it has been getting pushed down by the Tenkan Sen, but each time it does, the breakout isn't as deep. So yeah, this could mean it's trading flat, and could mean it could retrace in the next several days. So yeah, these are all the European currencies. To me, even though they're trending, they don't look like strong trends, so I may stay away from the euro and pound pairs. I'm more interested in the setup against the Japanese yen. So looking at dollar JPY, we have seen it. The price got supported by the weekly Tenkan Sen here, and it is above the price right now, or the Tenkan Sen price. So let's look at the daily chart. Yeah, this one, it is still in a range. It just stayed out of the Kumo and on the last Friday candle. But yeah, the market is reacting to the Fed news last week. So it looks like more interest rate hikes are on the way by the US Fed. The market seems to be weighing how much more the Fed will hike. So yeah, it could break out of the previous high here at 137.5, and if it does, there is another 170 pips to trade until the previous high set back on July 14th. But the real question is if the dollar will break out and form all-time highs against the yen. In case it does, there could be a lot more room for it to trade. But yeah, it's mostly the Fed news that's making the US dollar strong in the last few days. For example, even against dollar Swiss franc, the USD has been able to gain some strength in the last couple of weeks. But yeah, against the JPY, the CAD could potentially break out as well. It doesn't look as strong as the US dollar. Yeah, on the daily chart, the candles have been getting smaller and could retrace. but on the weekly chart, it's still technically up. The Kijun Sen did start to angle up after, since it's calculating use the past 26 candles. Yeah, if you count how many candles, even if the price stays in a range, the Kijun Sen is going to keep taking more recent weeks for the calculation. So even if the candles trade sideways, the Kijun Sen is going to catch up and go somewhere around here, and it could end up getting bounced or going up higher. But yeah, for this next week, I'll be looking to see if there's a good setup on USD JPY. My performance isn't so good against the European currencies, so even if the euro or the pound trends, I may prioritize a better setup on the other currencies instead. So yeah, this is my setup for next week here.